Xbox had their big E3 showcase 2021 for the first time together with Bethesda, and this showcase was definitely one of the best ones Xbox has had in a while, with the star of the show being Gamepass. The Xbox E3 showcase was all about proving that they have a continuous stream of games coming, many of them exclusively to the Xbox ecosystem. And we are discussing the highlights of the show, what the announcements mean for the future of Xbox, and why the biggest Xbox exclusive is Game Pass. Hello gamers from around the world. This is Archimedes, the video game enthusiast from Germany, with a video that not just tries to highlight the biggest announcements, but also tries to put them into perspective of what Xbox gamers can expect from the platform in the months ahead. This showcase was highly anticipated by the entire gaming community. The current generation of consoles launched back in November last year, and ever since we have not received any updates on the first-party development of Xbox games and second and third-party collaborations. But that all changed yesterday. Microsoft laid out their plan for the future of Xbox, and they gave us an outlook for the games that we will get to play over the next months. A little spoiler right away, there will be no shortage of games coming. But before we go through the big Xbox and Bethesda showcase, I want to ask you for a small favor. If you end up enjoying this video, then please consider to hit the like and subscribe button, and maybe even turn on the notification bell to not miss out on future content, because we will be discussing a lot more Xbox and E3 over the next days and weeks on this channel. Okay, but let's talk about the Xbox and Bethesda E3 showcase. They opened up the show with something very interesting that is a big statement to everyone who doubted that Bethesda is now a true Xbox first-party developer. The show opened up with Todd Howard, the mastermind behind Skyrim and Fallout, coming on stage and saying, "We at Xbox are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. We at Xbox." This sends out a clear message: we are one unit now. And from here on out, the showcase was filled with a ton of games that were shown with a great pacing, back to back, almost no talking from the executives or developers, just games, games and more games. And the first game that they have shown was the highly anticipated Starfield, the first new IP from the Bethesda Games studios in 25 years. They have shown it with an in-engine cinematic trailer that for the first time revealed the look and feel and art style for the game. This single-player RPG is coming out on November 11th, 2022. Of course, day one in Game Pass, so about 1.5 years from now. And stay tuned, I'm already working on a dedicated Starfield video for my channel, breaking down everything we learned and also taking a look into the technical enhancements of the game engine. Okay, but let's move on. I'm not going to name the games in the particular order that they have been introduced during the show. I'm going to continue with the first-party games that they have announced, and one big surprise for me was that they have already shown a teaser trailer for Outer Worlds 2. The Outer Worlds was one of the best RPGs from the last generation, and so naturally I'm super excited for that game, and it was one of the funniest trailers I've seen in a long time, because they basically made fun of these cinematic trailers that don't reveal anything about the game and are just here to announce a certain game. And that is exactly what they did. They announced Outer Worlds 2 is in the making, of course coming day one into Game Pass exclusively on the Xbox ecosystem in a couple of years. They also announced with a cinematic trailer a game called Contraband from Avalanche, of course also coming into Game Pass exclusively for the ecosystem, but we didn't really learn much about the game outside that it's an open world game that can be played in co-op. Another Xbox first party game that they have shown was Psychonauts 2, and it will come out on August 19th this year. This 3D platformer from Double Fine is going to be a game that is filled with creativity, diverse gameplay mechanics, the special Double Fine humor and a soundtrack coming from Jack Black. This game is the perfect example why Game Pass is so great, because launching day one into Game Pass will give every gamer a chance to check this one out, and I've said it before, this is a true sleeper hit for every fan of platformers. One of the most graphically advanced games out there is the Microsoft Flight Simulator that launched last year onto PC, and now it's coming to current gen consoles. Coming out on July 22nd this year, this is going to be an incredible graphical showcase for the Xbox Series consoles And another thing they announced is a crossover with Top Gun, adding chats and whatnot to the game. But the most anticipated first-party game coming from Xbox is probably Halo Infinite. After the controversial showing of the game last year, where graphics did not meet the expectations of fans, this was the time to show off Halo Infinite after an additional 1 year of polish. They have shown an in-engine cutscene showing that the Master Chief now looks much more mature, with a worn-out suit, some cool lighting effects and a lot more detail in the environment. We did not get any gameplay from the campaign, but they highlighted for the first time the multiplayer during the showcase. They edited some very short gameplay sequences into an action-driven multiplayer trailer. The key message here is, we don't have to worry about the graphics, because if Halo can look at 120 frames in multiplayer this good, the single player will be gorgeous and a beautiful experience. However, I want to be honest, I was expecting more gameplay, continuous gameplay from either the campaign or the multiplayer, and so I was left a little bit disappointed after the Halo showing, not because of the graphics but for the lack of gameplay. And unfortunately they did not announce the good news during the showcase. They have a dedicated Halo showcase coming today on June 14th, where they will show off the multiplayer more in detail with gameplay. If they would have just announced that during the show, I thought the showing of Halo Infinite would have been better. But anyway, we are getting gameplay really soon, at least for the multiplayer. Alright, let's move on to the strongest showing in my opinion from the Xbox first party studios, and that was Forza Horizon 5. I don't know if I've ever seen a game looking this beautiful, and the developer Playground Games was well aware of that, because they mentioned a couple of times during the extensive gameplay demo that they didn't apply any tricks when it comes to visuals. What you see here is the real deal. This was captured on the Xbox Series X, featuring ray tracing, improved texture qualities, improved car and driving physics, 4K 60 FPS gameplay, unedited. Look at what you see, the quality speaks for itself, but the thing that gave me goosebumps was me sitting there thinking, Fable is going to use this exact same engine. Can you imagine how this open world RPG in Fable will look with such an incredible game engine? Definitely one of my most anticipated games. Okay, and then Xbox ended the show with a cinematic trailer for the next game from Arcane called Redfall, another Xbox exclusive game coming day one into Game Pass. Redfall is an open world shooter with a vampire setting, and the focus of this trailer was heavily on shooting and supernatural powers. The game release window for the game is summer 2022, and I can't wait to see gameplay for that game to learn what the game actually is. But the trailer set the mood, a vampire game that is not taking itself too serious. Alright, as you already can tell, there were a lot of first party games in this showcase, and I think we can bury once and for all the narrative Xbox has no games. The awesome thing is that besides the first party games, Microsoft has had a ton of amazing second and third party games coming exclusively or timed exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. One of my personal highlights from the show was the game Stalker 2 from GSC Game World. The Stalker series is not really well known in the console space, but many years ago on PC this was a beloved IP. Everyone who is familiar with the Metro series will feel at home with Stalker 2. It's an open world shooter slash RPG set in a dystopian post-apocalyptic world around Chernobyl. This was one of the most impressive gameplay demonstrations during this show. The game will feature 4K resolution with ray tracing exclusively on the current gen consoles, because it won't be possible to run that game on last gen hardware. It will come out on April 22nd, 2022, and it will be a true showcase for what the Xbox Series consoles can do. I mean, look at the texture detail, the particle count in the world, the really good looking character animations, and the insanely good looking lighting. Another great surprise was the announcement of A Plague Tale 2 Requiem coming from Asobo Studios. The first game still is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated games of last generation, and the sequel just looks stunning. Asobo created their own game engine for that game, and the trailer highlighted that engine. And I mean, look at it, it looks drop dead gorgeous. I can't wait for that game coming day one into Game Pass next year. By the way, it has been confirmed that it will be a direct sequel to the first one, so Amicia and her brother Hugo will return. Well, and then Xbox has also showed off games like Diablo 2 the remake, Far Cry 6 with gameplay, the highly anticipated Battlefield gameplay running on the Xbox Series X with 128 players in multiplayer. They announced that Back 4 Blood, the spiritual successor for Left 4 Dead, is coming day one into Game Pass in October. The award-winning indie game Hades is coming into Game Pass on August 13th. Sea of Thieves is getting a crossover so that Jack Sparrow is coming into the game. 10 more Bethesda games are dropping into Game Pass, and Doom Eternal will get a next-gen enhancement on June 29th, adding ray tracing and 120 frames performance mode to the game. So to wrap it up, as you can see, there is a continuous stream of games coming into Game Pass starting right now, and this was the biggest highlight of the show in my opinion. Game Pass continues to be the value in gaming that cannot be ignored, with a ton of amazing games coming. They have announced a lot of games from the first party studios, they have shown a lot of awesome looking second and third party games coming exclusively or timed exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. But I do also want to mention that I would have loved for them to show at least 1 or 2 more games from their first party studios with gameplay. Starfield, Redfall, Contraband and to a certain degree even Halo Infinite have not been shown with gameplay, and I wonder why, because Microsoft has now announced round about 20 games in the making from the first party studios, and we know about another 10 to 15 games that are unannounced, and the only game that was properly shown off with gameplay was Forza Horizon 5. But nevertheless, this was one of the strongest showcases that Microsoft has put out in a long time. The key message was, if you subscribe to Game Pass, you will never run out of games to play. There are a ton of gorgeous looking games coming, and the next generation of graphics has only just begun. And I can honestly say that I've never been more excited for the future of Xbox gaming and the Xbox exclusive roadmap, but that's a topic for another video. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you want to support the channel even further, you can now become a channel member and get early access to my videos and custom made badges and emojis. If you want to learn more about the channel membership, just hit the join button and you will find all the infos you need. And let me thank those who are already members. I am truly humbled by your support. You are a big part in helping me taking this channel to the next level. And now let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of the Xbox and Bethesda showcase? Which games are you looking forward to the most? And besides here on YouTube, you can also hit me up on Twitter, where I share a lot of opinions and gaming discussions. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I see you the next time, and game on!